And we're live. What's going on? How's it going? Hey, it's Friday night. A little bit unexpected, but you know what? It's something came in the mail today, and I figured I've never done an unboxing. I never thought anyone would want to watch me do an unboxing, but very rarely does some things happen where you're just kind of like, maybe I should document this because Laura Bertram has a fan group that someone invited me to, and I joined it. And Laura's an angel on earth. Of course, I would join any group, like any page she does. She is a wonderful human. And in one of her posts, somebody on her page said, "Hey, I pledged to this great book on Kickstarter, and it's called Scary Tales, and it's an illustrated history of Are You Afraid of the Dark?" And I said, "That's really interesting." So I look it up, and I look up the author slash artist of this book, and I said, "Dude, do you want to come on the show, man? Let's talk about Are You Afraid of the Dark together. It's fall. This would be great." And he says, "Yeah, sure." So he came on. We had a great discussion. I invited him again when we had Tim Jacobus on, who is the illustrator of Goosebump books, because I knew that Bret was a real fan. And I pledged to this book, ladies and gentlemen. I pledged to this book, Scary Tales, on Kickstarter at the very last 15 minutes, because it took a while to get me going, because I'm not good with Kickstarter and I screwed up and I had to get it done. And I am not even kidding. For dramatic purposes, I had like 15 minutes to 11 minutes to spare before the absolute deadline. I almost didn't get it. And sure enough, this morning, in from the mail, I have a comment. I want to say hi. Good evening, Nadia. Going to be live on that other show. I hope you join us when I go to work, actually. Anyhow, so I got this. I'm not going to show you the address, but yep, I got this, and it's this book. And for the very first time ever, I have not seen this book. This is sealed, and I figure I want to share it with you because even though he's not a YTV fan per se, he's a big fan of Are You Afraid of the Dark and what YTV created. The original content that Montreal and Canada made its way all the way to the States, all the way to Florida, and yep. And that fandom went so far that someone said, "I want to make an illustrated history of Are You Afraid of the Dark?" And we're gonna look at it right now. So I'm opening it right now. You're living life with me. This is what we do in pandemics. We watch each other on screens and try to smile. And wow, that's a big book. Look at that. That's freaky. That's crazy. Hey, Dylan, how's it going? Hey, Alan. So yeah, Scary Tales, the ultimate unofficial guide to Are You Afraid of the Dark, written and illustrated by Bret M. Wilson, for the series by co-creator DJ McHale. Wasn't that awesome? I'm hoping to get DJ McHale on this program, actually, because it would be lovely to pick his brain about the horror he likes and why he wanted to make an anthology-style show for kids. And this is great. This is really pretty stuff. So let's take a look at some of these. So he has every episode written, and there's like literally quotes, and there are reviews of Are You Afraid of the Dark. This is a very big book, a season 1 overview. Look at the book is so thick that by the time you get to the season 1 overview, look at all these luscious credits and reviews and other snippets and pop culture information. And then what he has is he has like his own drawings of per episode. I believe this is the werewolf one. So every episode has a picture that he drew of it and his interpretation, and that's really cool. You see his mom and the hair, and him playing fetch with the werewolf at the end of it. This is amazing. Now at the end, I just want to see Kickstarter backers. So on one of these gigantor lists is my name. I feel like I'm a part of history. I'm yeah. Oh, by the way, Bret's not here, but let's read this one anyway. Hey, Bret, how you enjoying this revival so far? And when we're talking about Are You Afraid of the Dark, when I happen to know Gary Company to throw him in the non-dairy creamer on fire. Well, I'll make sure to reiterate that with I'll make sure to reiterate that definitely with Bret. We'll have Bret on again. I mean, Bret's been working his ass off to make sure that everyone got their get their stuff. He even sent it updated emails saying it might be a little later, because there was a problem with the printer. And frankly, this is a really big book. This is awesome. And I think it was totally worth the wait. And if he ever sells more, or it becomes open to the public, or starts being sold on Amazon or anything like that, we're going to have him on again, and we're going to make sure that everyone else can get a piece of this, because I'm really looking forward to reading this, because this is clearly done with a lot of love. But when you hear fan made or unofficial, there's a part of you that thinks that you're going to get something a little crappy, that you'll see the duct tape, that it'll seem a little handmade and charming in its kind of unofficialness. But this is a piece of art, man. This is really amazing. Even the feel of it feels soft. It has that new book smell. Awesome. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy I did this. So, fans out there, when they put themselves out there and they have Kickstarters and all that kind of stuff, I think it's kind of rad when talented people like Bret here put their mind to motion. And when they wanted to know more about Are You Afraid of the Dark, and they did all I believe Ross Hall has some stuff in here, and so of course does Laura. So yeah. Awesome. Looking really forward to reading this. Follow Bret Wilson Art on Instagram. That's where he is the most. And, he's probably a little overwhelmed with people saying, hey, dude, I want the book. Can I get the book? But definitely just say, hey, like his posts, say nice things. And I'm sure he'll appreciate all the work that he put in for the last, 3 years of his life or something. Hey, we got comments. Sorry, comment for the read. Interested in your opinion on season 2. Oh, you know what, Tommy? I have not seen season 2 yet, because I don't know. I'm kind of thinking, is this none of my business? I want to know what you thought of season 2. In fact, I got to go in about 4 minutes because I got to get ready. I work for a store called Captain Quebec, and we do live comic book auctions on Friday nights that I co-host, and I'm the tech for. But for the next 4 minutes, I'm all yours. I have not seen season 2 yet, but if you think, Tommy, let me know. If you think season 2 is rad, let me know and I'll check it out. Because I got to say, I saw You for the Dark for the first time because a friend told me it was awesome. And now we are 30 years later, and now another friendly person is telling me it's awesome. And if it is awesome, let me know. All right, Web. I usually see so many Kickstarter horror stories and about the under-delivered products and mismanaged funds. Glad to see that this one was a horror stories that had a happy ending. Well put. I gotta say, me too. I've heard of even some certain Hollywood celebrities that have Kickstarters that kind of don't do anything afterwards, and that I don't have to name because I'm sure you know what Google is. But yeah, Alan, what you're saying about the black and white book. It is awesome. This thing's heavy. You could kill a sucker by swinging it very hard at them. And but it's really cool. The art style is Bret's own for sure. And they also do, that's really cool. So they also do, and this is from later in the Midnight Society, they also do profiles of each of the Campfire member, the Midnight Society members. And they have, so let's say, let's go for ones. Midnight Society member Megan, seasons active, seasons 6 and 7. So this is the later on when I had my one and only Are You Afraid of the Dark scene very much in the background. You could even say I was an extra. And she was played by Alicia Cuthbert. And personality-wise, he writes, at first, Megan is hesitant about telling stories around the campfire in the woods, but after hearing a few tales and adding some new furniture to the pit, her attitude shifts. Megan is a rich girl, but she is willing to stretch outside her comfort zone in order to tell a scary story. Her tales primarily focus on romance and ghosts, but she also adds a little bit of the wall terror for good measure. In terms of her capability for her fellow MS members, She respects Tucker while taking a little liking to Andy's sensitivity. Overall, Megan is a very sweet, kind member with a few phobias and cares for Andy and her friends dearly. Memorable quotes: "Ew, I stepped in something stringy." Nice. So there's a whole bunch of that. I can't give away the entire thing because we're all going to cross our fingers that Bret is going to be able to make this book to the public, to the masses. But it is very hard to be a one-man team, and I think he really felt the inspiration, and he is interested. But go to Bret Wilson Art on Instagram. Follow him and encourage him. In fact, go to You, Me, and YTV on Instagram and encourage me, darn it. Because season 4 is long overdue, but we just, before jumping in that pit, had to handle a few other things, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And when we do, it's going to be great. And we are revamping our look. We're making a theme song. We're going to have an intro again. It's going to be really fun. So whether if there's guests or we're just talking about history and we're just hanging out on a good old Friday night, it's going to be special. That's what it is. All right. And it's about that time I got to go. So, Tommy says, personal favorite episode of the classic series. Before you go, not sure if you've ever been asked that, Frozen Ghost. Not only because it was filmed on my family's land in Hudson, Canada, Quebec, but also because it's terrifying. And the very idea that a kid was running away and froze to death in the woods and now says, "I'm cold," is horrifying. But there's definitely a few other ones that very ring a bell. I really like the lonely ghost in which the girl is behind the mirror. I like the dollhouse one. I like Apartment, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's when the girl has an old lady as a neighbor, and she finds out that the old lady says, "Please come over. I don't like being alone on that day." And she gets invited to a concert, and the little girl's like, "Well, it'll probably be okay." And then she only gets back later, and then you see the apartment is dark and all the furniture is gone. And she's like, "What happened to this woman?" And the landlord is like, "I told you, there lives no woman that lives in that apartment." And then you see like she's slowly kind of being haunted by this woman, and then she's like, "You said you would come. That day is the worst day of my life. It was the day I died." And my little 10-year-old brain exploded, and I pretty much instantly peed my pants. That's a fine episode of kids horror entertainment, and definitely got to say, oh yeah, what are you saying? You're saying shout out to season 6 and 7. Pretty sure John Tron forgot to cover them in his videos. You know what? Bret covers everything, and he covers everything except the reboot. So it's pretty amazing. As you can see, with Alicia Cuthbert being included as a Campfire member, or Midnight Society member, Campfire kid in this book. So it just goes to show how deep it goes. Pretty crazy. And just a shout out that my dearly beloved Melissa Kelly, I know who you know from YTV's Radioactive, and for an episode of Student Bodies where she makes out with Mick Perlis, who played Victor, much to my disdain for long periods of time. She actually made her YTV debut, or her anything debut besides plays. Her television debut was done in an episode called The Renegade Virus, where she played Sonia, and she had really big frizzy 90s hair. So now that I've embarrassed her, I shall let you go. But I shall be back. Me and Nesbitt are going to be having some fun. Big plans. See you soon. Bye.